The Tomy and Trackmaster invented the Thomas the Tank Engine, episode 73. Welcome back, Stanley. Things were not looking good for the island of Sodor. There had been a big accident a couple of days earlier, and everyone was so stressed about it. Almost everyone was so stressed about the work. Technically, it was been almost 2 weeks later, and Gordon, Douglas, Hero had been repaired, along with Duck. But the workload has still been increased a lot. Ellis and Lincoln left all because of Donald. Even with you guys still back on the accident, Gordon and Douglas, technically Ellis and Lincoln left all because of Donald. Technically, there's still too much work. I do want to admit, said Douglas, I do kind of miss Lincoln. I haven't seen him that much often, but he seemed like a nice engine. Well, even though it was Charlie's mainly for that thing, he did say Lincoln did something of a joke. He would never tell jokes ever again, but I think I kind of blame Charlie on it. Yeah, if Donna hadn't said that to Thomas, none of this would have happened. Just then, Sir Topham had arrived. Thomas, Douglas, Emily, Edward, and Gordon. Now I understand why you have been like this lately. I understand why the work's increasing. At the same time, though, we must keep the railway running. I know, sir, said Emily, but it felt like they did too much work. Ever since Lincoln had been disappearing lately, we have no idea where he is. And plus, technically, we've been trying to search for him, but Lincoln's nowhere to be found. Yeah, said Edward. Not to mention, well, I hate to say this, but where do you think he could have gone up to? The mainland or the other railway? Don't think like that, said Thomas. I sure hope that Lincoln's okay. But when I agree, besides, we do need another engine around. I understand, but I don't know I should order another engine or not. In the meantime, you continue on with your work. Yes, sir, said the engines. With that, all the other engines went back to work. But when everyone left, that's when Thomas had an idea. Sir, I have an idea. What is it, Thomas? Asked the Topham Hat. I have a great idea. I know the exact engine who should help us. Who? Thomas told the Topham Hat in secret about his idea. That's a great idea, Thomas. I'll make sure to ask that right away. Thomas was feeling very excited. A couple of days later, Thomas, Percy, and Lady were at Naples Station. Man, said Thomas, today's the day. Today's the day for what? Asked Percy. Oh, today's the day that we're gonna meet the new engine. New engine? Asked Lady. What new engine? You'll see, said Thomas. I wonder what this new engine could look like, asked Percy. Maybe it could be a tank engine. Yeah, I do miss Lincoln though. Yeah, if Donna hadn't said anything at all about he a disgrace to every railway in the world, he ran away. Let us hope, whatever he is, I hope he's okay. Yeah, but never mind about that. Let us worry about giving the new engine a nice big welcome, or I should say an old friend. Old friend? What do you mean, old friend? I don't know. Thomas, is this gonna be a new engine or an old friend? No, you'll see who it is in just about a moment. Just then, the engine heard a whistle. Wait a minute. No, said Percy. Could it be? And right around the corner, it was none other than Stanley. Thomas and Percy cheered, Welcome back, Stanley! Stanley smiled. Ah, hello there, Tom and Percy. It's been a while. Stanley, my friend, it's been so long. I'm glad you come back. Yeah. Wait a minute, Stanley, where you been all this time? Where I been? Said Stanley. Oh, I was on the mainland getting an overhaul. But now I come back. Why you decided to come back? Well, that was my idea. You're aware of the mainland to get an overhaul, and I asked the top and hat that you can come back, and he agreed. Stanley smiled. Ah, it's so good to be back. I remember my first day when you guys were storing Great Waterton. Yep, all thanks to me. And I was jealous of you at first, but we became good friends. Well, I'm sure am. Said the lady. Oh, and who is this purple tank engine? You look so cute. Aw, that's really nice of you. Well, my name is Lady. I'm a medical tank engine. Nice to meet you there, lady. I'm Stanley. I was here to help restore Great Waterton. Ah, that's nice. Thomas told me about the story about it. I'm so happy to finally meet you. Man, Thomas, you never told me about Lady before, but she's just a beauty. Ah, thank you, Stanley. Just then, Sir Topman had arrived. Ah, Stanley, welcome back to my railway. You'll be a good addition to my railway since one of my engines have ran away. Wait, one of your engines ran away? Wait, who? Well, said Percy, it's a long story. We talk about more about it later, okay? Okay, said Stanley. Now then, said the Toppin Hat. Stanley, well, it's your first day back on Sodor. Percy, I want you to take Stanley all around Sodor until you decide of a job. Okay then, said Percy. Come on, Stanley, let's go. And with that, Percy and Stanley truck away. Percy and Stanley trucked to Brandon Docks, where Salty was working. Ahoy, me hunty! Wait a minute, you must be Stanley. It's been like in a while since I last seen you. Yep, it sure has, Salty. I just come back in my overhaul. Man, said Salty, shouldn't be timbers. I'm glad you come back. Yep, he sure has. I'm showing Stanley around. That's nice, said Salty. Say, matey, how about you like to take a freight train in a little bit? We're getting one ready for you right now. Oh, but I'd love to, But before Stanley could finish his sentence, Cranky's arm snapped and a crate of fists was drawn on top of Stanley. Yuck, said Stanley. Is this how you treat, like, an old friend who just come back? Sorry, said Cranky, but my crane hook just snapped. Oh, it's fine. But get the fist off me, because I don't want to be smelling when I take in a train. Don't worry, there's a wash down nearby. I'll take it to you. Stanley and Percy chopped away to the washdown. Soon, after Stanley got cleaned up, he was ready to take his first train back on Sodor. He was coupled up to a small freight train. Good luck, me hearty, said Salty, because you might need that. Don't worry, said Stanley. I've taken care of myself. I'll just grab you away from the docks. I'll come back and talk to you later. And with that, Stanley shuffled away. Stanley now was determined to get his job done on time. I can do it, said Stanley happily. I can do it. First, he delivered fresh coal to the coaling plant. Gordon and Emily were happy that Stanley had come back. Look, Gordon, it's Stanley. He has come back. Ah, Stanley, it's been a while. what happened to you all this time? I was away on the mainland getting an overhaul, but lucky for me that I had come back. Wow, said Gordon. I'm glad that you come back. Thank you, said Stanley. I appreciate that so much. Next, he went to Elbridge Station to drop off some tar to repair some of the roads. Toby the tram engine was there. Ah, look who it is. Stanley, you're come back. I heard from Thomas, Percy, and Lady. Yep, it sure has been, Toby. I'm glad to come back from my long overhaul from the mainland. That's good. You're stronger and better than ever. I always loved your shiny white and silver paintwork. That is appreciated, Stanley. I must get going now. Bye, Toby. And Stanley chopped away to deliver his last thing. Last but certainly not least, Stanley has dropped off the last of his trucks to the steamworks where Victor was waiting. Ah, there you are, Stanley. It's been like so long. Where have you been all this time? I was away at the mainland getting an overhaul. Well, nice to meet you, Victor. Or nice to see you again. Yep, it sure has, my friend. Now get going. Someone will be warning you where you are. Thank you. With that, Stanley returned to Brandon Docks. Soon, Stanley arrived back to Brandon Docks. Aha, me hearty. Well, you did a pretty good job with your first train. Now, go get some rest. Ah, with my presser, said Stanley. But just about the rest, there was more trouble. Runaway train! Runaway train! What's going on, said Stanley. There's a runaway train coming down this way. And indeed, it was a runaway train. The Charlton trucks had broken away from James. Oh no! There's a runaway train! Don't worry, Salty, I stop it. No, said Salty, it's too dangerous. Matey, what are you doing? The Charlton trucks. The brake band hit to Stanley. Stanley applied the brakes. Luckily, Stanley was made to stop the Charlton trucks just in time. Cranky was amazed. Wow, Stanley, you have saved the runaway trucks. You are a hero. Salty smiled. Well, matey, I had to certainly agree. Stanley, you really did save the day. Just then, James the Red Engine chopped up. You silly no-good wagons. You broke away from me. Wait a minute, is that Stanley I see? James, is that you? Said Stanley. Yeah, it sure has. Stanley, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a long while. What happened to you? Long story short, I was away on the mainland getting an overhaul. Later on that evening at Napa Station, all the engines were celebrating that Stanley has come back from his major overhaul. And all the engines were full of questions too. And the most important thing of all, Stanley has saved the day from Jane's runaway train. Man, said Henry. Stanley, I'm glad you come back. Honestly, I certainly agree. Stanley, you are a credit to the railway. You saved the day from Jane's runaway train from earlier. Ah, thank you. I'm glad to come back. Yeah, you definitely saved my runaway train from there. Those naughty good wagons. Just then, Sir Topman had arrived. Stanley, what you did today was amazing. You did something heroic. You have saved the runaway train from James's troublesome trucks. And therefore, Stanley, I'm happy to say this, but you're allowed to stay here. Thank you, sir, said Stanley. I love that so much. Not only that I came back my overhaul, I'm happy to stay here. The engines cheer with their whirs and whistles. Man, Stanley, I have a pretty good feeling that we're gonna become good friends. Yeah, I'm good to see old faces and new faces. Yeah, I'm happy to see you back again, Stanley, since it was my idea for you to come back. We all happy that Stanley come back, said Emily. And plus, they partied that Stanley come back well into the evening. Well, it was a good thing that Stanley would have good into the railway. Let us hope that Lincoln is safe wherever he is.